Once upon a time, in a cold northern country where snow covered the rooftops for many months, there lived an 8-year-old girl named Petra. She lived in a warm city house with her rich parents, where servants cleaned and meals appeared without her lifting a finger. Petra believed life would always be easy for her. She did not like to work, and she saw no reason to wake up early for anything. When winter holiday came, her parents sent her to stay in a small clockmaking town where her grandfather Henrik lived. The town was old and quiet. Narrow streets curved between wooden shops. Bells chimed softly from tall clock towers. Everything there seemed slower. On her first morning, Petra pulled the blanket over her head. She heard the floor creak before sunrise. Her grandfather was already awake. She groaned. "It's still dark," she whispered to herself. "Why would anyone wake up now?" But every day, before the sky turned pink, Henrik lit his lamp and walked to his workshop. Even on holidays, even in heavy snow. Petra could not understand it. "Grandfather," she said one evening while sitting by the fire, "why do you work so much? You are old. You should rest." Henrik smiled gently. "Rest comes sweeter after good work," he said. Petra shook her head. In her mind, work was something you did only if you had no choice. Her parents always told her she would have a bright future. They had money. They had plans. Life, she believed, would simply grow better as she grew older. One cold afternoon, she followed her grandfather to his workshop. The door opened with a soft bell sound. Inside, hundreds of clocks ticked together. Some were tall and proud, some were small and shiny. The air smelled of wood and oil. Petra walked slowly around the room. Then she stopped. On a high shelf sat a beautiful clock with no hands. "Grandfather," she called, "this one is broken." Henrik took it down carefully. "It is not broken. It is the most important clock I ever made." Petra frowned. "But it cannot tell the time." Henrik placed it on the table between them. "Most people live like this clock," he said softly. "They are surrounded by time, but they never truly use it. They think tomorrow will always be better. They think someone else will provide the meaning for them." Petra felt something sting inside her, though she did not speak. Henrik walked her to a tall, dark clock in the corner. "I made this during a year when I had almost no money," he said. "Snow covered the town for weeks. No customers came. I could have stopped, but I chose to keep building." He pointed to another clock by the window. "I made this when my hands ached and my eyes grew weak. I felt tired, but I asked myself each morning, will I show up fully today? If I did, the day was never wasted." Petra looked around the room. She suddenly felt small. She thought about her warm bed, her easy meals, the way she refused to help her mother at home. She had always believed life would carry her forward without effort, like sitting in a carriage while someone else pulled it. But what if life was something you had to build? That night, she lay awake. Snow tapped softly on the window. The town was quiet. She felt a strange fear, not fear of work, but fear of becoming like the clock without hands, surrounded by time, but never truly living it. Before dawn, Petra opened her eyes. The room was cold. Her blanket was warm. She almost turned over to sleep again. "No," she whispered to herself. She sat up. No one told her to wake up. No one forced her. She dressed quietly and stepped into the pale blue morning. Across the street, the workshop lamp was glowing. Henrik looked up in surprise as she entered. She walked to the table and stood beside him. "Grandfather," she said softly, "what are we building today?" Henrik studied her face. He saw something new there. Not pride, not laziness, readiness. He handed her a small wooden piece. "Today," he said gently, "we build with care." Petra began to sand the wood. Her hands were slow at first. The room ticked steadily around her. For the first time, she was not waiting for life to happen to her. She was taking part in it. Years later, people would say Petra became known not for her family's wealth, but for her steady hands and steady heart. But it all began on a quiet winter morning, when a girl who once loved sleep more than effort to wake up before the sun. Sometimes we think time will make our lives meaningful all by itself, but time only passes. It does not build. What we do inside each hour is what shapes us. Every ordinary morning is waiting for us to show up. The moral of this tale: a life well lived is shaped by the intention you bring to each hour. If this story moved you, it is worth sharing. Subscribe to Morals in Tales for new wisdom stories every Monday and Thursday. What did this story awaken in you? Share your thoughts in the comments. Until the next tale.